Hey guys, in this video I want to talk a little bit about using glass files. They're a relatively new tool that are being commonly used, and so if you guys are a little bit unfamiliar with kind of what's the best way to use them, that's what I want to talk about in this short video. Now the one that I'll be using is from the USA Gundam Store glass equalizer set here, which actually comes with 3, but a glass equalizer or a glass file in this case is going to work very similar to your traditional file like this metal one here from GSI Krios, Mr. Hobby. And the great thing about using a file is that it removes material quicker than if you're using something like sandpaper or a sanding stick like this, which is good for removing a small amount of material relatively precisely. But if you have a little bit more to get rid of, a file can certainly make quicker work of the job. So I have some parts here from the HG Shin Burning Gundam that we're going to be using for an example, but this is just a leftover part here. You can see we have this nub on the shoulder piece. Now say we're using a traditional metal file here. It's going to do the job pretty well, but it is going to leave the surface looking a little bit coarse. Now here on this particular part, it's just like this very little bit here along the edge, so it's not going to be all that noticeable, but it is going to be sort of coarse, and if you're not careful, you can certainly damage that flat edge by making it not flat, giving it imperfections quite easily with a metal file. And so that's where the glass file comes in. The glass file is going to work to remove material almost as good as a metal file, but with a bit more precision and certainly with a lot more care, giving you a much cleaner finished product. If we take this piece here, for example, that's a quite large nub that we have, and so it might be a good idea actually to trim this down a little bit just with a knife first before going at it with a file even. So as you can see, I've got it down pretty low, but we still have a visible chunk there that we want to remove, and a glass file should make pretty quick work of this. And when using any type of file, you're not going to want to keep filing until you think you've got it. File a little bit, check it, file a little bit, check it, just to make sure that you're not doing any more excessive damage, like I said, than you'd want to do. Alright, and then when it's all done, as we can see here, we have a nice glossy surface just to match like the part. It's actually kind of a little bit more glossy than the part itself, but a nice, very clean surface. It's not scratched up by the file at all, and you can see like a little teeny tiny bit of that white stress mark from the nub removal process there, but basically we have a really nice clean surface there left by the glass file. So that's where the glass file is really going to be most useful when you want a really good clean finish, and especially if you don't plan on painting. Now where the glass file also really shines is being very useful for clear parts, because on clear parts you're not going to want to use a metal file or sandpaper on that because you're going to damage the clarity. Of course you can, and then you can go at it with some different buffing agents and buff out any abrasion marks that you have left from the sanding or filing process. That is true, but it's a lot easier to just do it with a glass file, and then you don't even have to worry about that. The problem is that the glass file is flat. And so if you have a curved surface like this gate right here on the top of this curved part, you're going to want to be careful when filing that not to change this curve into just a flat edge there at the top. It's going to ruin the curve. So that is the one area where you are going to want to be careful when using a file of any kind on any kind of curved part. Again, if I cut this down a little bit with a knife first, and then we go about our filing here carefully, you can sort of move the file along the edge of the curve as you're filing back and forth, and just again make sure you're watching and keeping an eye on how much you're filing away and where it's at. And again, you should be able to maintain that nice round surface, and now we don't have any gate there, any nub mark left over, and it looks really nice and clean. You can't even see any remnants of the nub still left on there. So they work really well for clear parts. So if you have like one of those exclusive clear color kits, or just a kit like this that comes with some clear parts in it, glass file can be really helpful for those parts. Now one last thing to mention here is just about maintenance and how long should you expect the glass file to last before it starts to get dull, or how long can you expect to use one. Now just for maintenance, as you can see, as you're using it, it's going to get filled up a little bit with some dust there. You can just take an old toothbrush and you can usually brush that out. For the most part, it should get rid of all that, and it should not be an issue for you. So pretty easy to just maintain. They should last you pretty long. I've not really heard any concrete information about generally how long it would last you, but I would imagine it should last you quite a long time before you would start to notice it's kind of losing its effectiveness. That said, and again, if you get this particular set, you get 3 in the box and they each have a different shaped head at the end, but I would imagine 3 would certainly last you probably a lifetime, if not a very, very long time. So hope that this quick video was helpful and informative for you guys if you're interested in using a glass file for your modeling hobby. If you guys do have further questions, of course, leave those down in the comment section below. If you guys want to pick up this particular set or any other glass files, tools, kits, or paints, or supplies, you can do that at USA Gundam Store. Of course, the link will be down in the video description below, as always. So thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.